So potato gnocchi, literally one of my favourite recipes. It's like a potato dumpling. If you've not eaten it or made it fresh before, you might have found it's quite heavy, but this way is super light. So we take a baking potato, something like a Maris Piper or a King Edward, and you cut it into 4 and then place it in cold water, salted water, and bring it to the boil and cook it so that it's super, super soft. Okay? We've left the skin on. That stops too much water going into the potato, becoming waterlogged. But then, of course, once it's cooked and cooled, you can take the skin off. So essentially what we have is lovely, freshly cooked mashed potato. Okay, so you can just coarsely mash it. Doesn't matter if it's slightly... So you want 250 grams of potato. This is plenty. So just make sure most of the larger lumps are out of the potato. And then we're going to take 100 grams of plain flour, good pinch of salt, onto the work surface. Bring the potato back. Just make a well in the centre here. Bring the potato back on top. And then we're going to enrich with an egg yolk and flavour with parmesan. So plenty of parmesan. And in fact, you can flavour this however you wish. So you could put tomato puree, you could put squid ink, you could put a beetroot puree into here as well. So this is essentially a plain version. And then just with your fingers and something like a bread scraper, just want to work this together. It's a very similar method actually to a short pastry. So a kind of pinching action. It's the quantity of flour that's important here, otherwise it becomes too sort of gluey and too tight. So it should be lovely and light when it's finished. So just like a short pastry, this will start to clog up. And that's the stage where you can bring it together. Don't bring it together too early. Let it clog up first. Just use the scraper just to capture all of the dough. So as before, just make sure that you've got a clean surface to work on. Okay, so clean off your hands and the table as well. And then at this stage, just flour your hands and just roll this into a sausage. So we'll do it in 2 parts. If it cracks a little bit at this stage, it's absolutely fine. Just pull it back together. It's much better that it's not a gluey dough. It's much better that it's nice and light. So we're looking for a sausage shape. As I say, a little bit of flour on your hands if you need to. And just gently tease it out. So when you cook this, and first of all, we're going to blanch it, and then we're going to fry it in some chorizo oil. When you cook it, it tends to expand around about twice as big. So you want to start off with a sausage which is quite thin. The next thing to do is to prepare a tray with some semolina or fine polenta. So this is a non-sticking agent, okay, and they can just sit onto the tray. If you have what's known as a garganelli board, you can also do some shaping with these, just by pulling them down and just shaping them with some grooves. Okay, so with the potato gnocchi, we've got a pan of water boiling, ready to blanch. We've got a frying pan here, ready to cook the chorizo sausage, and we've got the tomato sauce pureed, actually ready to go. So we're just cutting the sausage into some smaller shapes. And then we just want to render the fat really from the sausage. Okay, and you can do that by just using a little bit of additional oil in the pan. It tends to burn really easily, this, so you just want to gently raise the temperature, allow the sausage just to, the fat to melt, and it should give us some lovely paprika infused oil to fry the potato gnocchi. So we're keeping this really simple today. You could garnish this with some nice crispy sage, some extra Parmesan cheese, maybe some little baby spinach, but this is just really, really simple. What's important when you blanch the potato gnocchi is that the pan is got a rolling boil, so it's really, really vigorous. And you can see on here that they're all moving freely. Okay, that's the semolina flour on the base. If you don't want to use sausage, you could use mushroom or a little bit of pancetta. Okay, so potato gnocchi into the boiling water. I like to put the remaining semolina actually into the tomato sauce. It just binds it together, stops it from splitting. So that's going into there. You can stir the gnocchi and then just allow it to rise to the top. As soon as the sausage is ready, you can take it out, just put it on one side. And it's this lovely paprika oil that we want to use to fry the potato gnocchi. Okay, so just drain it off. And this wants to be smoking hot, really, really hot. So it's going to make a big crackle. You want to keep it moving because it does have a tendency just to stick. Go back in with the sausage. And all of those lovely little grooves that you put on the potato gnocchi earlier, you'll find that the oil goes into completely and coats them. So there we go. Really, really quick to cook. So we're going to put some sauce on the plate. This is one of those dishes that you can just put onto a big plate and just serve in the center of the table.